Hi, linear algebra students. In this example, which is mandatory to watch, I remind you, although you can solve it by yourself. So if you solve it by yourself and you see that your answer matches mine in the end, you can skip a couple of steps, right? The idea is to understand like what you have to do in this kind of problem. So it's the only YouTube video you have to watch in partition matrices. And here it is. So in class, we have seen that if we have a matrix like this, where A1 and A2 are square, okay, A11, A22, I mean, so these two elements in the diagonal, we have seen that we can write the inverse of A like this in blocks, okay? So we saw this example in class, and what we want to do now is to use it to find the inverse of this big 5 by 5 matrix, okay? So the way we're going to solve this problem is actually quite simple. We need a good partition, okay? And the idea is, look, we have that 0 over here, and we have a bunch of 0 at the bottom. So we know that we will cut the matrix like this, okay? So this is the way we will partition our matrix to isolate that block of 0. So we want to take advantage of that. All right, so as you can see now, what we will do is we will find the inverse. So this is our A11, and this is our A12. This is our A21, okay, which is not much to say, it's the 0. And finally, this is our A22. So I will keep these colors just so that you can really see which calculations belong to which block. So we need the ingredients. We need to find what is A11 inverse and A22 inverse. So let's get going with that. And actually, I'm going to change the color for this one. I'm going to use green. Or, oh no, I'm going to use blue actually. Yeah, I'm going to keep it in blue. So that's it. That's the A11. So step number 1, find A11 inverse. Okay? And this is really simple because it's a 2 by 2. So we're using the 2 by 2 inverse of a 2 by 2 formula. So AD, so 1 times 2, minus BC, which is 1 times 1, times, and that's it. We swap the 2 and the 1, and we put a negative in front of these two ones. So here we go. And now this calculation gives us 2 minus 1. So it turns out actually that the inverse is simply this. Okay, for A11 inverse. Then the second ingredient we need is the A22 inverse. Okay, so A22 inverse. Okay, so actually, for this, one thing to realize is that A22 was obtained from I by swapping the two rows over here, right? So A22 is the elementary matrix, obtained from I3 to be more precise, by the row interchange, row 1 interchange row 2. And you know that its inverse will be found by performing the reverse row operation on I. So that's it. A22 inverse is the elementary matrix, obtained from I3, by the reverse row operation. And in this case, of course, the reverse row operation turns out to be the same one. The reverse of a row interchange is the same row interchange because it will swap back the two rows in their original position. So there we go. From there, we have the inverse of A22, which turns out to be, that's it, like 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, and 0, 0, 1. As a final ingredient, we need to compute this big thing. Okay, so we have so 3 right here. We need to compute negative A11 inverse A12 times A22 inverse. Okay, so let's write the big product. So negative. So here we take actually we take the result of what we have here. So it's gonna be 2, -1, -1, 1. Okay. Now A12 we have it, right? It's this guy. So 3, 4, 0, 0, 0, 5. And then finally, we have this one, A22 inverse, which is like 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, and 0, 0, 1. Okay. So the calculation is quite simple, but don't mess up, right? It's easy, but not that easy. So let's begin by doing these two. And I will keep the negative out because otherwise I'm scared of forgetting. So, all right. So in this case, it's really simple. You're just picking the first entry, the 2. So 3 times 2 here and 4 times 2. So we're going to have 6, 8. And here you're picking the -1. So -5. Now, the same thing will happen here. You're picking up a -3, a -4, and you're picking up a +5. Okay, so that's the first product. And I put the negative in front just because I don't want to do too much at the same time. Now, you still have to multiply by this matrix right here. Okay, and this, okay, so here, so we're gonna have actually 2 rows. Yes, we're gonna have 2 rows because the first matrix has only 2 rows. But we're gonna have 3 columns. So what's gonna happen is that we're gonna pick here. So here in the first column, we're gonna pick the second entry. So we're gonna have 8 and -4. In the second column, we're picking the first entry. So actually, we have 6 and -3. So it's funny to say, but this matrix is swapping the columns instead of swapping the rows, which kind of makes sense because it's written on the right. Okay, so here, same idea. The third column is left as is. So this, oh, and I forgot the negative sign. Okay, so let's just put it. And then finally, there we go. We incorporate the negative sign here. -8, 4, -6, 3, 5, -5. All right, now that I have everything I need, I can erase, I'll erase everything except, oh yeah, I will actually erase everything except this, yes. So where's my eraser? Right here. Okay. Because the final step, as you might anticipate, is simply to, and I will put it in black because I use blue as the color code for this guy. Well, that's it, right? Just remember that what you have is, so all of these 3 matrices, okay? So A11 inverse, I'll just recopy it once. Then we have the 0 matrix here. We have the orange block that we computed. So here, A12, A22 inverse. And finally, at the bottom, we have the A22 inverse. So in other words, the only thing we need to do is to write down the matrix itself, which will be a 5 by 5. So A11 inverse, there we go. 2, -1, -1, 1. Now the orange block, it's the one that we calculated here. So we have -8, 4, -6, 3, 5, -5. Okay, so this matrix right here. And then don't forget the third block is simply the zero matrix. So we didn't have to calculate it. We knew right from the start that is the zero matrix of the corresponding dimension. And then finally, the last matrix is the inverse, so A22 inverse, which is what we found out to be this. There you are, guys. I hope it helped. See you in the next video.